The Shine on CX Show with Claire Boscq, illuminating the path to exceptional customer service.
Welcome to the Shine on CX Show. I'm Claire Boscq and I'm thrilled to be bringing you insight, stories and strategy that will illuminate the path to exceptional customer experience. Whether you're a CX pro, a business owner, a CEO, or just passionate about creating amazing customer journeys, this show is your go-to resource. We'll be diving into real-world example, expert advice, and the latest trend to help you boost your business and truly shine by elevating your customer experience. So let's get started. Hello and welcome to the Shine on CX Show. And today I have the real pleasure, all the way from the Isle of Man to welcome today Rich Mulholland. Hello, Rich. How are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. I mean, the story that we have, how we met, the two of us, was quite, incredible, really. I was in Dubai at the airport on my way to Bali when some strange man, started talking to me. A tall gentleman started talking to me, asking me where I was going. I looked like I was a speaker. Where was I going to a conference for speakers? And then when I said I was living in Jersey, he said, "You must know Rich Mulholland." And I'm like, "No." So Steph, in the middle, a South African, in the middle of Dubai airport, had introduced us, and then it went from then onward, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's crazy. It's nice. People don't understand the collegiate feeling of speakers. It definitely feels like a team sport.
Yeah, I mean, I think this world is so big, but at the same time so small as well. Like 6 degrees of separation really is just nothing, really, is it?
Not at all.
Yeah, so we met up in October, and I mean, we've got quite a bit of energy together, and we share the same passion about speaking, but also we share a passion about people, about storytelling, about making mischief. I think that there was something on your website that I've seen, and your tagline. Oh, first, okay, I've gone overexcited. Please, Richard, just tell us who you are and what you do.
Okay. Well, I make mischief. My name is Richard Mulholland. I'm an entrepreneur. I was born in Scotland, grew up in South Africa, lived there for 40 years, where I started a number of businesses, the longest running of which is called Missing Link. So we help people suck less in public. We want to try and make people, when they get onto a stage, deliver presentations that will, change themselves and the people in front of them. I have a fractional AI company called Too Many Robots and a facilitation business called 21 Tanks. I have written 3 books. Well, I've actually now written a 4th book, Relentless Relevance, that will be out in March. And yeah, I travel the world and speak when not doing actual day job stuff.
Brilliant. I mean, you are a busy man, absolutely busy man. And I think when the two of us met up, we straight away we went on to customer experience. We straight away went onto sales, which I'm really loving it. So how do you see the relevance of making mischief in the world of sales and customer experience?
Yeah. So, well, it's quite simple. So one of the things is that I'm quite lazy in that, sales is hard. And so you want to make it easier for yourself. And even in a B2B business like mine, I realized that there are no better salespeople than your customers. And customers are generally quite easy to charm into doing great stuff. And I had this interesting mindset around making mischief with people's expectations, in that I realized that if somebody came to me and they wanted a really good keynote presentation and we were to develop it for them and design everything, if we did the job absolutely brilliantly, it would be fine, but that didn't get us a referral. What got us a referral is when we did the things that people didn't perceive were what they paid for. And so I realized that hacking people's expectation engines and wreaking havoc on what they expected they would get when they came in and giving them not necessarily more. Obviously, we wanted to give them a better version of the job than they expected. But if we did small little different things along the way, we became impossible not to talk about. And that became the underlying philosophy of the business. We ended up, I mean, there was so much. We bought a stretch limousine to collect our clients from. We gave them kids' takeaway bags every time they come from a meeting. We gave away free tattoos to all of our clients with top artists. Like so many little things we did that had nothing to do with our job. But I found that good service was defined by how well you did your job, but great service and customer experience was defined by how well you did your not my job stuff. So we always focused on making mischief that way.
And I think so. Your new book is coming out in March.
Yes.
Relentless Relevance. It's very for a French person. Those two words
Yeah,
together.
the-
But that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's relentless. Is that perseverance in everything that you do to make it right, to make it good, to make it better, to make people feel good, right?
Yeah, so I think relevance is under threat at the moment. The world is changing so quickly. Everything is under attack. People's expectations under attack. You know, today's greatest service is tomorrow's minimum expectation. So we, in order to stay relevant, and for me, relevance is it's a lovely word. It's about the state of being appropriate to the matter at hand. And so we have to, you know, as we get older and things like that, but I think just generally as the world evolves, we have to constantly ask ourselves, how appropriate are we to the matter at hand? And what can we do to make sure that we are? And even there's a level of playfulness and mischief that needs to come into things. I think that we often become too defensive around the status quo and instead of challenging it. And for some people that would be exhausting, but the difference is between when I started my company and today. It's when I started my company, I chose to be mischievous and to tackle the status quo. Today, that's not a choice. You don't have any other option. You're either remarkable and people want to talk about you, or you're dying.
Mm. So what give me some examples of some of the companies that you've seen or you've worked with and some of the things perhaps that you've done with some of your clients to make them mischief in action. What does that, how do you tackle that? What are the bold moves that you've been able to help some organizations with?
You know, every one of the companies has a slightly different context, and Missing Link, it's always results in the same way. It's somebody getting onto a stage and delivering a message. But turning a chief executive officer, delivering a strategy to his entire team from a standard show up and throw up strategic presentation to something that has got playful elements into it, that has storytelling into it, has the audience laughing and enjoying themselves, getting that emotional appeal. Sometimes it's as simple as that. You know, we don't expect our clients to do all the things that we do with them, with their clients. What we want them to take away is the way that we think about things. Is that you have to take the work seriously, but you don't have to take yourself seriously. And if you can bring in a little bit of fun and playfulness into everything that you do, especially when you're standing up in front of a stage. Even in terms of in 21 Tanks, where we do a lot of strategy work with firms, a big part, the cornerstone part of that actually comes down to strategy gameplay. And it's supposed to be fun, but it's also supposed to be deeply thoughtful. And in fact, positions this entire idea, why we believe that strategy as a construct has run its course and is no longer relevant for the world we're in today. It takes too long a view and requires too much prediction. So it's not always about being wacky and crazy. People often confuse that about us. It's about taking a mischievous view on how can we look at this with a new frame. And the more you apply that and the more you habituate that, the easier it becomes. So that's just how we think now. We look at things around, okay, what is expected, but what is a counter narrative? And in fact, we have a professional speaking program, and we train a lot of professional speakers. And I always say to them that a lot of people come on stage and they'll say, well, I want to tell my story. And we'll say, no, you don't have to do that. You have to make a point. And they'll want to talk about something that the world already talks about, empathy or purpose or, what's your why? And we say to them, no, you got to find a counter narrative. People want to know that, yes, you're talking about a topic that they care about, but you're talking about it in a different way, or you have a different point of view. And so my entire mission in life is to try and get people, if the prevailing point of view is boring because we've heard it, my entire life is spent on slaying that boredom, like trying to find a way to break through the noise. And I think customer experience it's the fastest hack to that. It's the easiest way to disarm people on every level. And it is easy for us. And I think it makes people's lives better.
And you talked about storytelling, and I think that's some of the things that you say as well. A lot of people talk about their stories in a sales context as a about the story, their own story and the sales, instead of actually telling the new story where the customers is part of the story and the customer is in the story. And I think that's a massive difference, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge. So in my last book, Here Be Dragons, why I put the dragon, the problem, at the center of the story. It's not about the customer. We all talk about being customer centric, but actually, when it comes to sales, customers, the hero of the story, the customer, doesn't take action unless there's a reason to. And the dragon is always the reason that people act. You know, it kicks off either fear or greed. And so what I realize is that our job is not to get a lot of people, when we work on creating people's sales narratives for them, their existing narrative is, I want to show up and tell my audience, the client, the hero, my story. But your client doesn't care about your story. They care about their story. You're only important to them insofar as you make their story better. So that's what we always say is the job is not to tell your own story. It's to sell your customer a new story in which they need you. And if I can sell you a new story about yourself, if you can picture your life, and from today, your life is exactly what it was, except now there's a small thing somewhere in the future where you realize, oh, I need to work with Rich on this because, and once you exist in the world where you need something, you know what it's like. It's the same thing we are with buying anything off Amazon or Shein or Alibaba. Once you know you want it, it plays in your brain. So that's the story you want to tell your customer. You want to sell them a story in which they need you. And once they exist there, then you're not selling, you're just facilitating a buy.
I love that. This is so simple, right? Just so simple little shift. It's a mind shift, right? Again, that's kind of really, really simple. But you don't know what you don't know, and often I think that's sales is often seen as that double glazing person coming in and trying to, get you to sign your life away.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, there's a
Yeah,
big
I mean, sales
difference.
has been given a bad rap because there are some bad salespeople, and we often remember bad experiences better than good experiences. But there is nothing more thrilling than being sold to well. When you're sitting down in front of somebody, for me anyway, when a salesperson is sitting in front of me, there's that awe is such a wonderful emotion, right? It's one of my favorite emotions. Anytime, I love the word awesome because it's like this idea of awe. Like anytime when I'm watching a salesperson sell to me and they genuinely look like they care about what it is, but I know we both know what's happening, right? They're trying to make their commission. It's such a beautiful, wonderful thing that they're able to actually change me for the better. I am better off because of them. And like, I always just look at this as just such a beautiful, beautiful thing. And salespeople, it's so amazing to me. Like they have to find these euphemisms, business development, or try and make anything sound posher. But there's very, very little in our businesses that could not be improved by better sales. Not necessarily more sales, but better customers, better sales. I do not understand why the world is not holding amazing salespeople up as the most incredible human beings. Like if it was something I could rebrand, it would be salespeople.
And I think again, I mean, sales and CX are often seen as two separate functions, right? So, in your opinion, how do we change that narrative? How do people integrate? Because the both of them can't work without together, really.
Yeah, completely. So it depends on, again, when we see CX, like, and maybe customer experience, and you see it as a downstream part of the process. But actually, when you see it as it's writing the check that the rest of the organization has to cash. So again, if we work under the premise that, today, the service I get today is the minimum expectation I have tomorrow, then what happens is it helps you create this amazing culture, but also helps create an expectation from the customer. And when the customer starts craving that incredible experience, you're the only person who can deliver that. And so this beautiful relationship between CX and sales is that they become this self-fulfilling. I sell something to you that allows the rest of the organization, myself included, to give this incredible experience that you crave so much that you want to come back and deliver more. And in fact, it gets even better than that because it's not just a repeat. It's like a spring. It's like a coil because you don't just come back yourself. You recommend other people to come to the organization. But if you are lazy like me, there is no easier way to make your choice is, do I go to them? Do I sell or market to customers? Or do I create an experience that is so incredible that everybody just wants to come and do business with us? And that's always been my hack. It's helped me lazy and have a really wonderful life while having a very busy company.
It's again, it just seems so simple, right?
But it
When we
really
talk
is. And then
about
all you
it.
have to do is the simple thing. The hard thing, I guess, is how do you build a culture in your organization? And we were chatting before we started recording around how you're trying to build a culture in Jersey. If you can create a culture that this is just the way things happen about around here. What happens is if you come to my company, creating a remarkable customer experience is not something that my staff do. It's part of their identity.
Mm,
My
mm,
team believes it's their job to give you a good time.
mm,
My
mm,
team believes that you're supposed to love working with us more than you love working with any other company.
mm, mm, mm,
All our clients end up coming to us and asking us to do talks on what we do in the missing link way and how we do stuff. But for us, it's just doing our job, showing up, having fun. But when you can make something part of your identity, it becomes easy.
mm,
That's the hard bit. The hard bit is not giving good customer experience. The hard bit is making customer experience part of the identity of your organization. But I
mm,
promise you, the dividend on the effort of doing that is astronomical.
mm, mm. And I think also we were just talking about that culture piece and bringing the community piece, and that's kind of another level to actually looking at. But we were we always ask, what's the worst sales pitch or the worst customer experience you've had? But actually, you and I were talking about the smile campaign that I was running a few weeks ago, and the best stories, I want us to talk about best stories. Let's stop talking about the negative and the bad story. We need to talk about that positive. And you were telling me about this receptionist at the gym, which she just lights up every time there's a customer's walking through. How amazing is that job?
Yeah, it's incredible, and this is the upside. This is why getting your people to care about customer service is the nicest thing you can do for your people. So years and years ago, I'm hired to speak for Virgin Active. It's quite a big gym chain, and I told the story because I trained there, and I told a story. I built a lot of the talk around my experience that I had there. And one of my favorite stories was the receptionist. This is one, sometimes speakers can exaggerate ever so slightly. And this is 100% what happened. The receptionist at my local gym in Northgate, her name was Diana, every day when you walk in, you have to swipe your card. And then essentially she just checks that your photograph pops up and that's the entire job and that you are you, and away you go. But this lady, Diana, had decided that she wanted to just give a good time. And so every time we'd walk in there, she would have a chat to you. And it was first thing in the morning. And it's so funny because you walk up to her feeling a little bit grumpy. You know what it's like? You wake up at 5 in the morning, you begrudgingly put on your gym clothes, you get in your car, you drive, it might be winter, you get out, you walk into the gym. Right now, you've not smiled at a single person. And this force of nature greets you. This little ray of sunshine, right? And she's like, Richard, and she has to know everyone's name. She prides herself on knowing your name before you go up there. And of course, you can see it on her screen in front of her. So the little game she does to make her day go well is remembering everyone's name. Richard, how are you? Blah, 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 blah. And then every day she learns a bit more about you. She asks you about your training and you have an amazing time. And then you reply and you cannot respond. You have to lose your humanity to respond to somebody who's having a good time being nice to you without being nice back. And so all of a sudden, something magnificent happens. The moment you walk through that turnstile, you're smiling as well. And so the entire culture of this small little gym, because Northgate wasn't one of the big gyms, this small little gym was people walking around smiling and greeting each other. And I'm convinced that wouldn't have happened without her.
Yeah.
But here's the amazing thing for me, and why I talk about this so much in talks, is that I reckon that Diana thinks she has the best job in the world
Mm,
because she might smile at me, one person, But the 500 people who walk through that turnstile on her shift all treat her with the same smile and sunshine that she treats them. So she gets met. Her entire shift is 500 people hoping that she has the best day ever and throwing love and happiness her way. Like that, you can choose how you want to. I have lots of views around the two choices we always make around customer service, but hers was just to always choose to be happy, unconditional positive attitude, and then that unconditional positive attitude is given back to her 500 times a day.
Amazing. Amazing. That's just the best feeling in the world, right? Absolutely best
So,
feeling in the world. Why wouldn't you want to do it?
yeah, and this is what I always say to people when I chat to companies. We do an unfair advantage sales series, and the first module is on customer service because it's the starting point. And I always say to people, like, why would you choose not to? Like, you can literally choose. What you put out is what you're going to get back. So if you hate your job and you're grumpy and you put out grumpy, all you're going to get back is grumpy. There's very few people. I'm one of those people that when I get met by a grumpy waiter, my wife and I's mission is to try and convert them. Like, we will win you over. I will get you to the point where you're smiling and laughing with us by the end of the meal. That's our game. The grumpier they are, the more we will try to win them over. Sometimes it's a multi-visit thing. Like, shit, we're going back to that restaurant. That little shit is going to smile at me. But like, that should always be your game. And funny enough, I mentioned unconditional positive attitude. That's my travel mantra. But it came from, I used to work in a restaurant chain called Spur when I first left school. And we were always taught UPV, unconditional positive vibe. And yeah, just that's the job.
Yeah, that's amazing. That really is
I'm getting
amazing. I'm loving
getting
it. Definitely lots of positive vibes in this Shine on CX show, which I love. So, Rich, what's next mischief are you going to be up to?
Well, there's quite a lot. So funny enough, when we first moved to the islands, we had, a lot of our clients are in the US and Canada and South Africa, and I'd actually just moved here, but I never planned on working across uh, Jersey, Guernsey, and the Isle of Man. But actually, it's incredible to me the amount of potential that exists here. So this year, the big focus for me is actually hiring staff here, building a business here. And although it was never a plan, to really build a nice little company here as well. So I'm very excited about that. Our AI company is going from strength to strength. Obviously, this is a strike while the iron is hot thing. So trying to help businesses embrace that. And right now, my highest excitement is the book that comes out in March. I really do believe that people being relentless about their relevance and changing their attitude to relevance is going to be massive. And I believe that if relevance is not one of the core values of your organization, like, one of the behaviors that you want people to think about, I think irrelevance will be close behind.
Brilliant. Okay. So the book is out in March. How can people get in touch with you? What's the best way to connect?
Well, the easy URL to remember is if you go to getrich.af. If you go there, that will take you to richmulholland.com. You can sign up to my newsletter. That's when you get early access to everything. And that would be a good way to follow. And then if you want to chat about some of the businesses, you can go to tmr.wtf or too many robots.wtf or ineedmissinglink.com if you want to get involved in the storytelling or speaking side of things.
Brilliant. Well, I'll put the links down in the podcast anyway. And of course, I mean, this is really exciting as well to share that with you because Rich will be coming back to Jersey this time in a few weeks' time. We're really excited. The 18th of February is going to be a big day because we are going to be launching the CX standards, Smile standards. We're going to be, what good service look like, feel like, why smile, and how does that going to impact the island as a whole? It's going to impact people, it's going to impact businesses, and it's
Yes, I'm going to be coming through for an event on the 18th. It's Tuesday night. I believe it's a lovely night. So hopefully see you all there then. And I'm going to be going deeper on kind of the stuff that we've discussed on the show and try and answer any questions that any of you have around this and offer some experiences. And yeah, I hope to spend some time with you guys and really just change the way that you and your teams think about the humans you interact with.
Thank you so much for being with me today. And Rich, I'm so looking forward to be making some mischief together. At 18th of February, Rich will be coming and joining us for this special event, and we really look forward to welcoming you back on the island. Thank you,
I
Rich.
can't wait. Cannot wait to visit.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye.
The Shine on CX Show with Claire Boscq, illuminating the path to exceptional customer service.